finance and growth, right? So we are actually discussing value here. Finance is about value. We are looking at the value of a car, the value of a specific asset you have. And then also someone can say we involve money. But finances are not only about money. So let's check. There are two things that you have to know about finance. So when we come to finance and growth, two things you have to know. One, you are doing it. One, you don't. You will do it next year. There's something we call interest, and there's another thing we call decay. So interest is when value increases over time. Doesn't just increase on its own, it's because the money maybe is in the bank or something like that. Then decay is when the value decreases. So this one likely will do it next year. But let's check interest. There are two types. There is what we call a simple interest, which is the interest where the calculation is done on the principal amount always. Principal amount, you know, is the first amount or the initial amount, right? Yes. So simple interest, we calculate interest based on the first amount. Let's say I deposit 500 into the bank. But let's make it easy, 100 rand into the bank, right? 100 rand. On the first year, they say they give me interest of 10% per annum. So this per annum just means per year. That means every year, 10% will be worked on the 100 bucks. So if I use simple interest, this year until next year, I will add 10% to this 100 rand. 10% of 100 rand, how much is it? It's 10 rand. Okay. Then you are going to add them. 100 rand plus 10 rand, it gives you 110. It means next year, I will be having 110 rand. 10 rand is my interest. The other year, I'm using simple interest. I am still going to add the 10 rand, which is 10% of the original amount, or what we call the principal amount. So every year I'm adding what? Almost 10 rand. And I keep on adding. It's very simple. Compared to another compound interest, which is another type of interest, which is called compound interest. With this one, if I have 100 rand into the bank, and then the percentage is the same, is 10% per annum, what will happen is, for the first year, 100 rand will be calculated with 10%. And then I will get 110 rand. I will be having 110 rand then the other year, right? Yes. When I go to the second year, I no longer calculate 10% of 100 rand. I calculate 10% of how much I have in the bank, which is 110. So 10% of 110 is 11 rands, right? Then you add 11 rands to this, the answer will give you 121 rands. 121 rands. Someone was looking. Okay. And then the third year, I will be calculating 10% of 121. Unlike simple interest, always I'm calculating the interest of the 100 rand. This one I'm calculating the interest of how much I have at the bank at that moment. So those are the two types of interest. For this one, we have a formula. A equals to P into 1 plus IN. Where else for compound interest is A equals to P into 1 plus I to the exponent of N. So we want to understand what is this A, what is P, what is I, and what is N. So A is known as the future amount. Future amount. Or future value, future amount. And then P is known as the principal amount or the present amount. It's a choice. It's the present amount in simple terms. I is the interest rate. Interest rate. One thing you should know, if on the question they just say 10%, that's not interest rate. Just know that. If they just say 10%, for it to be interest rate, they must say 10% per annum. Because maybe that 10% is what they call deposit when we do hire purchase. You can't take it as interest. And when they say deposit, they won't write per annum. They will simply say 10%. That's it. Once they say per annum, you know it is our interest rate. Then M is the number of years. Number of years. For example, if they say I deposit money for a period of 72 months, how many years is that? I will have to convert it to years to put it on N. How many years will it be? 6 years. How did you get the 6? You did what? You will say 72 divided by 12 months. Why 12 months? Is because a year has 12 months. And the answer is 6. Why am I showing you this? The question will come and say, a person deposit an amount for a period of 15 months. What are you going to write for years? So you will simply say 15 months divided by 12. How much do you get?
1.
So not really. Okay, you can say 1 year and 3 months because you understood it from the fact that 1 year is 12. You are left with 3 months. But with values there, what do you get?
1,25.
1,25. You notice that you can't tell that the 25 is 3 months unless you calculate it the way you did it here. To say 12 months is 1 year, I'm left with 3 from the 15. That means it's 1 year and 3 months. Okay, but just beware of that. Once they give you months, you divide them by 12 and then you get the years. Okay, let's check the questions there. Few things that you have to notice or know when dealing with financial mathematics. The tricks that you should put into place. You are going to understanding these two things, right? Yes. You are going to read the question 3 times, guys. Every time. The first time you read a question, first time is to identify the formula. Identify the formula or the equation. So when you read it for the first time, the goal is to identify which equation we need to use. And how do you know which equation to use? For simple interest, you will not hear about anything called inflation. You will not hear about anything called compounded. You will not hear anything about population. Once you hear any one of these 3, the formula that you must use is the compound interest. Why? Because inflation, they don't look at the first price of something, they look at the current price every year. So next year they check how much is bread. Bread is 18 rand 50 cents. They calculate the percentage of inflation based on that bread at that moment. So that's compound interest, because every year they look at the accumulated amount or the amount they have of the bread. Population. The population of a group doesn't grow according to how many people were there at first. It grows according to how many people are there now. For example, in Tembisa, if we are 2 million, next year, the amount of people in Tembisa will be affected by how many we are now. Because if we say we are 2 million, every female should have a baby. Next year we might be how many million? We are not sure how many females are there. We can be 4, we can be 3. You get it? Yes. But let's say we were only 50 people. You see that it is impossible that we can arrive at million.
Yes.
So it depends on the current number of people. That's why we are calling it the compound interest. Then when we say compounded, it is telling you that you are using compound interest. For example, they will say you are having 10% per annum. Then they say to you compounded yearly. This word, once you see compounded yearly, you use the compound interest. Once you see inflation rate, you use compound interest. Once you see the growth of a certain population, you use compound interest. If you don't see any of these 3, you know that I must utilize the simple interest. It's understandable, isn't it?
Yes.
Then you will read the question for the second time. For the second time is to look for data. Why? Is because even though they are the same here, but this skill you will need it as you go to grade 11 and 12, because there will be different formulas. Here, these two formulas, they seem like they are the same because both have A, both have P, both have I, both have N. In the future, near future, which is when you get to matric, you will be having P at the beginning, you will have F. So it means that using the formula to identify data is important. In this case, I know that the things I need is A, P, I, and N. So I read the question for the second time. Once they say this person deposits 500, I know it's a present amount. And they get 2,000 at the end of 10 years. I know the 2,000 is the future amount. And then they said at the end of 10 years, I know it's N. Then maybe they say look for I. I look for it quickly. It is understandable. Ne?
Yes.
And then one of the sickness that almost every learner has when it comes to finance is a lack of conclusion. If they say to you, for example, they say Karabo puts this money using simple interest. Then they give you another one, they say Katlego puts another money, maybe the same amount, using compound interest. Then the question says to you, compare who had the best deal. So you will do calculations, but at the end you must conclude. So people miss a conclusion. You have to conclude that, okay, Katlego had the best deal because after only 10 years, Katlego got 20 million or got 10,000. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So conclusion is a necessity. Where some people just calculate and leave it there. Imagine I'm asking you, let's say you were born in 2005. No? Let's just say that. Then I ask you, how old are you? You only do calculations.
18.
Someone just says 2023 minus 2005. How much is it?
18.
18. Then someone just leaves it there. You didn't answer me. I said, how old are you? Then you must come and say, I am 18 years old. Yes, you have done the calculations. There are marks there. But you must come and conclude. So that is what you need to do. You read the question 3 times. And then, let's get to questions now. There are questions down on the board. It's from a past paper, which was written, let me check when, in 2018. Question 1. Remember, we have to read it 3 times, no?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Question 1 says what? It says, can someone read it for us? We start from the top there.
Question 7.
Question
Read the
7.
advertised below.
Just pause it a bit. Why do we need to read here? Some people think we are wasting time. There are likely serious information there. What if the information says, please jump this question? And when you are busy answering. It happens specifically on English. They usually say, answer section A, all of it. Section B, answer only 2 questions.
Yes.
Section C, choose any one of the poems. But you find someone having answered the entire page. Why? They think reading that small information there is useless. So you just read that we have to read the advertisement below. So you can read the advertisement.
Buy a Samsung J5 for only 229 rands per month. You have 24 months to pay. No deposit is required.
Wow. Okay, we are reading. They are saying buy a Samsung J5 for only 229 per month. That means here you don't pay once again. You are paying several times. Yes. And then you are paying for 24 months. How many years? I'm expecting, when they ask me to calculate, I expect N to be 2. So they haven't asked any question. I'm going into the question itself. Can you read 7.1?
7.1. Calculate the total amount to be paid over a period of 24 months.
Okay. Did they give us any interest?
No.
You don't have interest, right?
Yes.
Do we have how much will be paid at the end?
No.
They're looking for it, right?
Yes.
It means that we don't need to use these formulas. Because these formulas are interest formulas. So it means I can get that question without using these formulas. And that's what is needed. So 7.1. Do you understand what the question means? Someone said to me, if you don't understand the question on finance, translate it to your language. For example, I'm Northern Sotho. Well, I do Northern Sotho as my home language. They say calculate the total amount. To be paid over a period of 24 months. Ye itlo pattern. Kagaraga majaji oba dikgwedi tše masomepedi nne. If you are Zulu, you convert it to Zulu. If you are Xhosa, I don't know Xhosa that much, I can hear it. But you convert it in that manner. When I think like you are playing, no, you are not. Or when you see Chinese eating with their sticks, you can think they are playing. They are serious. So here, why do you convert it? It's for understanding. What do they want here, if I may ask? How are we going to get the value? So you'll have to say 229 times 24
months.
Why? It's because they are looking for, if you are paying, how much will you have paid at the end of the entire 24 months? It's like they are saying to me, here's a phone. Please pay 500 per month for 72 months. I feel like, it's very cheap. When you check 72 months is 6 years. You are paying 500 every month. How much is it in total? You will find you are running around 30-something thousand. So you get what I'm saying? So let's calculate it. It will be 229 rand times 24 months. How much is it? How much is the value? It's 5,496 rand, right? There are no cents. Yeah. So 5,496 cents. That means you are going to pay it for 2 years, and then this is the total amount you have paid. Let's go and read the second question. The monthly installment quoted in the advertisement is calculated on a hire purchase. Hire purchase simply means you are actually hiring the phone while you are buying it. It means should at any time fail, should you at any time fail to continue paying, they can come and fetch their phone. And it is theirs.
Yes.
When you are hiring it, it's not yours. But you are busy hiring it while you are buying it. It's like I'm saying to you, borrow me your clothes, I will pay them small. If I stop paying, they are still yours. You can come and fetch them. And the amount I have paid already is for the fact that I was using them. So I can't say, pay me back my money. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So let's check. Hire purchase, we are hiring it while paying for it. They say agreement which charges. Now you see an interest. How do I see that this is interest rate?
Per
There's
annum.
a percentage and it says per annum. And then it says on the cash price of the cell phone. Show that the price of the cell phone is this much. So you are not going to use this amount. They want us to prove it. So I've just read the question for the first time. I want to identify the formula. Did you hear anything called inflation in this question so far? No. Population? No. Compounded? No. Simple interest. So 7.2, I write down a simple interest formula. Then I collect data on the side based on the fact that I am going to substitute into a simple interest formula. Then I can read it for the second time now. Why am I reading it? I want to collect data. Don't be lazy, guys. Marks, you have to work for them. And reading is something that should be easy. So I'm reading again, being conscious of the first information. They say the monthly installment quoted in the advertisement is calculated on a hire purchase agreement, which charges 7.5% per annum. That is what? What is it here?
Interest, I.
Which is 7.5%. I don't need to write annum there because I already know it's an interest. And then they say on the cash price of the cell phone. Cash price of the cell phone, show that the price of the cell phone is. They want us to prove that the price of the phone is
4,779.13 cents.
13 cents. One of the things that we must notice is that here is what?
No.
How many years?
They didn't tell the years.
When you will be paying what? If you will be paying that 229 rand per month for that period of what? Of 2 years. So our amount should be 5,496. So if I may ask, this 5,496, where will it go?
To the
It will go to
the
A
P.
because is the amount we get in the future, which the bank used to divide by the number of months and identify how much you should pay per month. So it's like we are actually reversing it. So on A, I'm going to have what? 5,496. Then the present amount, I act like I don't know it. Why? They are asking me to prove, show that the price will be this much. So you can mark yourself. If you don't get this price, you know something is wrong. It's very interesting, isn't it? So I will substitute. So I'm having what? A is 5,496 rand. P is unknown. 1 plus the interest is 7.5%. Some people prefer this as 0.075. Some prefer it like this, like myself. But don't forget to put the percentage by saying shift open bracket. Open bracket. You will get the percentage. Can you get how much is inside the bracket? Or we can divide before we work it out. 7.5% multiplied by 2. You divide this side by 1 plus 7.5% multiplied by 2. It cancels. You are left with P, which is how much? Say 5,496 rands divided by 1 plus 7.5% times 2. What is it? Anyone?
To go to maybe 549.
It says 5,000. 4,779. So we don't need to say comma if it's money. It's 4,779 rand 13 cents. So the fact that we say cent, we understand that actually it should be going to the other side. Okay, is it the amount that they asked us to get?
Yes.
You see that actually is the amount that they wanted us to prove. You see?
Yes.
Okay. How many marks? 2 marks. It's simple, isn't it? Yeah, it's like you are solving for X alone, that's it. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. Calculate the total interest paid over a period of 24 months if the cell phone is bought with this higher purchase.
Okay.
Do you understand the question?
No.
Read it again. That's the purpose, to understand. Read it again. You can read it for us.
Calculate the total interest paid over a period of 24 months if the cell phone is bought with this higher purchase agreement.
Do you understand it now?
No.
Or still no?
No.
Still no.
Some do, some don't.
Yes.
So they are saying to you, calculate the total interest the person will have paid. Remember the original amount of the cell phone. If you were buying it cash,
Yes.
is this much. But because you are paying it with installments, there must be interest charged over a period of 2 years, and then you'll end up paying 5,496 rands. That means how much interest did you pay comparing the two amounts, the cash and the higher purchase one?
The principal amount minus the
Minus,
future amount.
exactly. So you'll be saying, actually it's the future minus the principal.
Yes.
So you'll be saying 7.3, you'll say interest is equals to the total amount that you paid, total minus the cash money, the one that you paid for cash. So which is, we can start by minusing first, 4,779 and 13 cents. What did you get?
716.87 cents.
So you don't need to say
Come.
comma because it's money, right? Yeah, 87 cents. So it's 716 rands, 87 cents. That means this is the total amount. Yeah, you don't need to mention the comma. The comma works here. You see, when you are here, you will say 716. It's not rands. It's 716, comma 87, not 87. But now we are dealing with money. We say 716 rands because they can be dollars, they can be euros, yens, kwachas, pulas, and so forth, pontos. They are many. Yeah, there's a kwacha from Malawi. Let's finish up quickly. It says the cell phone is insured, meaning it's insurance. I told you about it previously, right?
Yes.
But they can be insurance. It is insured at 11.5% per annum of the cash price. Which one is the cash price?
It's for
This one.
470.
That is the amount that you could have paid if you paid cash. So
400.
let's find how much is the insurance.
779.
7.4. How much will it be? 11%, 11.5% of the cash price, which is 4,779 and 13 cents. How much is the insurance? %, should be 40 something rand or 50. 50 something rand. Did you press the percentage?
No, I didn't press the percentage.
I told you, you will forget that time, so don't forget. Shift open bracket, you will see, did you?
Oh, 54.
54,
549.
549.
You didn't press the percentage.
We pressed it.
59 cents or comma 22 over 250.
Okay, yes. It should be okay. So it's 549 rand 50. Okay, 60 cents, isn't it? Because we have to round it off to 2 decimal place. It's money. Okay, let's check quickly. So we have to read the question further now. They say the insurance is 11.5% of the original price, which is the cash price. The total insurance is calculated, right, which we just did, and then split up to over 24 months. That means we have to know how much is each per month. Which will be, it is then added to the monthly. So we'll add it to the monthly later. So we have to divide this amount by 12, by 24. Right?
Yes.
How much do you get? It's 45?
45 rand 80 cents.
45 rand 80 cents. So it's 45 rand 80 cents. Then now we have to add it to the monthly fee. Remember when they are advertising it here, it's business. They don't include the insurance. When you are purchasing it, that's when they say we advise insurance, because anything can happen to the phone, which is a fact. So we are going to say the amount will be 229 rand plus 45 rand 80 cents. How much do you get? 274. Which one is wrong? There for 45. What do you get?
Yeah, 274 and 80 cents.
Okay, someone miscalculated. Let's stay calm. Let's stay calm. The 549 rand 60 cents divided by 4. What do you get? It's how much? 82. Or 22. 22 rand 9 cents. Like this. Then we'll have to add it here, not 45, right? Did someone calculate using 12?
Yes.
Okay, that's why. Let's get the answer. It's 249 and 9 cents. Correct. Add them. 229 plus 22 and 9 cents. It's
151 and 9 cents.
Where would you get the 51 where? 251. Something is wrong. Because my calculations are saying otherwise. Oh, the one that we have 251.
251.
Oh yeah, I see. I added the 251 and 9 cents, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's check the question further. This was 7.4, right?
Yes.
It is then added to the monthly installment. Calculate the newly monthly installment if the customer wants to insure the phone. If, so it's a condition, if the customer would like to insure the phone. It means you can pay the two, it's like a car. The price they sell you at doesn't involve the insurance. You can choose to add the insurance or not. Well, some garages will force you to add it. So let's check 7.5. The last one. At last, they say the cost of the cell phone is subject, meaning it depends on. It will be 251 rand 9 cents. You are happy with it? We took the 9 cents. I took the amount of the insurance, which is 11.5% of the cash price. You got this, you agree? Exit. After getting it, this amount that is not paid cash now is going to be paid over 24 months. So what did we do? We divided it by 24. And we got this. And then this is the new amount added on top of what? Of the insurance. It's fine. Okay, let's finish up. I think we're left with less than 2 minutes. Check. Very important question. They say the cost of the cell phone, meaning when you buy the new one, is subject to inflation, meaning it depends on inflation. It means in 2030 you might not find it to be the same price because inflation rate is actually causing things to increase. So it is subject to inflation and increases to a cash price of 5,100 rands after 2 years. So now I need to bring new data for this question. 7.5. Calculate the annual inflation rate. Inflation rate is the same as interest rate. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Remember, I'm reading it for the first time. What is it that you see here?
Inflation.
You see inflation. Which formula? Compound interest. Then I write it down. A equals to P into 1 plus I to the exponent of n. You don't substitute without writing the formula first. Then I collect data based on the equation that I have. Then now I can read the question, because if I say I start adding here without going back to the question, I'll make mistakes. Listen, the cost of the cell phone is subject to inflation and it increases to a price of. It means this price is present or future.
Future.
Okay, can you read it? Because maybe it's me understanding it better.
The
because
cost,
I'm reading it.
the cost of
Why
the
future, why
cell phone
present?
Because of after 2
because
years.
of the inflation.
After 2 years, and the word after means you are talking about
The future.
future of a specific. Okay, so it will be a future amount. Do you see it's important to understand the question?
Extremely
So our
important.
future amount will be 5,100. What about the present amount? Currently, how much is it? 4,779 rand.
18 cents.
13 cents. Do you see that the question can be confusing? Remember, during examination, you will be alone. No one is there to remind you. So you must understand it for your sake. They are saying the cost of the cell phone is subject to inflation. It increases to, the question is from what? After 2 years, that means currently, how much is it? Is that 4,779? Are we given the number of years?
Yes.
Which is?
2 years, 24
Yes.
months.
So, you know what is the interesting part? Do you know what is the interesting part? The interesting part is, if after 2 years, someone saw the phone I'm using, which is Samsung J5, and wanted to buy it, they won't buy it with the cash price I had 2 years before. They are going to buy it due to inflation. They are going to buy it at 5,100. Where else myself I will be finishing to pay that one, and in total I will have paid how much? 5,496. That means I still paid more than the person who will buy it in cash. What are we looking for?
Interest.
Interest. So we go back and substitute. A is what?
It's 500.
5,100. What about P?
P 4,779 18 cents.
Into 1 plus I, unknown,
Unknown.
to the exponent of 2. Then I'm solving for I. Divide both sides. On this side I divide. So here it's a matter of algebra here. 5100. I advise you to not round off, because the more you round off, things are going to be troublesome. So the square will cancel, and then you have 1 plus I equals to the square root of 5100 over 4779. We have done algebra excessively, so this shouldn't be a problem.
Kind of difficult.
Yeah, it's a difficult question if you don't understand it. Should I give an example of a difficult question that is very simple? Can someone give me the answer to this following question? Who are your consanguinities? Who are your consanguinities?
What is consanguinity?
Exactly.
My parents.
The question seems hard, it's not. Consanguinity is someone you are related to.
My parents.
Exactly. Who are you related to?
My
Your
parents.
parents, your sister, that's it. Is it hard? No, what was hard is understanding.
Somebody siblings of the relative part. What's up? Your consanguinity.
Consanguinity. It's a consanguinity. Consanguinity.
Something like that. Yeah. So it should be consanguinity. So let me check. I'll just verify here. But it's consanguinity. Yeah, you are someone you are related to, close to genetically, family-wise. So you understand me now? $1 no. Okay. Can we get the answer to this? You don't know how to press it. You press the square root, a division sign there, you fill it up, you get out of the square root, -1. You will get the answer. Guys, this you see that this is your example. Expect this kind of questions. These are the questions you should expect.
You must study
Yeah?
Really bad.
You are going to move them.
Yes. You have to study on the compound interest.
How much do you get? Yeah, it should be, it can be. Then check. Let me check what it is. Or you didn't take the 1 out of the square root.
Here it is, sir. It's 1,0.
Out of the square root.
It's
It should be, let's check.
1,0 something.
0,033.
No,
Sir.
I'm telling you. Let me check. These two, where did you get it? You don't have to put it because it's a square root. It's there already.
Oh.
You get it?
so
Then you multiply by 100. The answer will
So
be
how it has square root? How it has square root 2 or 5?
multiply by 100.
Multiply by 100. The answer will be 3,3%.
Yes.
Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Let's read the question for the last time for conclusion. Calculate the annual inflation rate. Therefore, we say
The annual inflation rate is 3.3%.